Before we get started with today's video, I wanted to take a second to let you guys know that Snake Eater Performance has a new line of injectors out called the Pro Series. Every single aspect of the Pro Series injectors has just been stepped up. Starting at the packaging, it's this nice magnetic box. The injectors are nice and secured in this foam. Comes with your data sheet. You can see the nice metal body on the injectors. So they're not getting rid of the China stuff. They're still going to be offering that for the people like us who are super budget oriented. But for the people who want the peace of mind of knowing that they have a top tier injector. So for all the people who are throwing a fit about the injectors being made in China, here you go. Here's your chance. These are all made in either Europe or North America. They go from 42 pounds up to 220 pounds per hour. If you need a discount code, use code SNYDERTRON for 10% off your order. And for people like us who like to do the sloppy stuff, don't worry, the budget injectors are still going to be offered. This is just a new line, the Pro Series, that Snake Eater's coming out with. So go check it out.
That's bad.
I know that I said the next video with this car was going to be doing the floors. I'm a big fat liar. I think instead of doing the floor today, because that's not really crucial as far as ordering parts go, I want to try to test fit one of the motors and see how that goes, because I'm probably going to have to get an oil pan. I've got a couple laying around that I might be able to use. I want to see if the motor mounts that I have will work. They should work. They're Transdep 4592, I think. I know they'll line up with these stock mounts down here, stock frame mounts, but as far as, I think they're stock location, and with a 4L80, if you get the forward location, it moves the engine forward like 1.25 inches, I think. It makes fitting a 4L80 in these trans tunnels a whole lot easier. Otherwise, I have to cut the tunnel. Not a big deal, considering the floor anyway, but if I can just, this isn't a race car, if I can move the engine forward and make everything fit, that's not a big deal. So that's kind of what I think we're going to do today, is try to get all this fit and see what parts I got to get. Because I know that I'm going to have to order some, but they're all kind of dependent on this, like even headers. There's different sets for stock location versus forward location. So there's just, I think it makes more sense to try to mock up the engine, see how that's going to fit, and then we'll go from there. Because the floor is going to be pretty easy. That doesn't need a whole lot. For our mock-up motor, God, I got a lot of stuff in the way, actually. Got to move all this stuff to get to it. And then, yeah, 4592 is these mounts I've got here. Which, yeah, stock location. Whoa, don't go nowhere. You good? You're good. Perfect. Just set it on the workbench here. These are the plates that'll bolt to the block. And these are the mounts that'll bolt to the plate. Blah, blah, blah. LS1 to factory, small block Chevy car or truck. Doesn't really say like applications. So I'm pretty sure these will work. But you guys know that with LS swap stuff, it really helps to use like a total kit. Like the Holly kit or the full Transdep kit or stuff like that. So I want to get this bolted up to the block, get that in place, and take some measurements for the oil pan and stuff like that. Actually, what I kind of want to do, I might cut that mount off the frame, because one, it doesn't look like it was welded in the right spot. And then unbolt that one. And I might run a bolt through those to the motor, kind of set it in place, move it forward, and then weld those to the cross member. That way it is about 1 inch, 1.25 inches forward. But first, I gotta get some stuff moved out of the way. thing's sitting a whole lot better. Something I noticed with this is these rear shocks, and I did check, there are rear shocks on it. Oh wow. When I had the front end lifted up, you know, I'll just show you guys. Alright. That should be up high enough. Look at this. These rear shocks are just there for decoration. So now that we have a tire that contains a little bit of air, this thing sits a ton more level. Perfect. God damn, that thing looks cool, man. Sheesh. I do think, at least for the time being, I'm probably going to leave the stock wheels on it because they're in pretty decent shape. Also, wheels are expensive. So, I got the engine hoist dug out. What are we doing? Come on now. What the frick? Get these bad boys in place. I will 100% find a fourth one, even though, let's be honest, I could probably just pick this thing up by hand and set it in there. Might just run 3. Then we'll get the motor mount stabbed on that thing and start test fitting it. Alright, so now I can start throwing on the motor mount adapters on, and these are super simple. I'm sure most of you guys have already used these, but these are going to bolt just like that, and then the new motor mount itself is going to bolt to that plate, and we drop it all in place, and we're good to go forever. Motor is, I'm hesitant to say it's in place because it's kind of fitting like ass. It is 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, about 3/8 from the firewall, so that's not going to work. This cylinder head physically couldn't even fit. There's no way that this is the stock location because that cylinder head wouldn't even fit. So stock location has to be like at least another 1/2, 3/4 of an inch ahead, which would mean that the forward location would probably be about 2 inches ahead of where it's at, which I'd still be fine with. This isn't a race car, so I don't care about weight bias to the rear or having a real high crank center line, things like that. But it does tell me that there's something funky going on with these frame mounts, which I suspected it was because I can see that this one's welded on and the bolt holes aren't lined up with the holes on the frame. They're like half overlapping. And they just, they don't mesh with this kit at all. So, a couple options. I can cut this one off the frame, which I've got to do anyway. Unbolt the one over there, which I'll probably do. Got to do anyway. And then I've got those other mounts. Bolt them up to the motor, and then set the motor down in place, and kind of line it up roughly 2 inches further ahead from where we are now. I don't want to say exactly 2 inches ahead because I don't know. I know that the kits say that the further ahead mount system is 1.25 inches ahead of stock. And like I said, there's no way this is stock because this head would be in the firewall. So that's why I'm thinking about 1.75 inches to 2 inches ahead of here should be pretty good. And if I can get all that lined up, I've got a set of long tubes that I'd like to try just because if they work, we'll save money. And if I can make those work with these motor mounts, and if I think I can clear an oil pan, then we'll be good. We'll just do it like this. If not, then I might end up just picking up the Holley swap mounts for this. And here's a little secret. The Holley like 302.2 or 302.3, I don't know about the 302.1, I haven't seen that. But those are like, what, $400 from Holley? If you just search in like 302-2 oil pan on eBay, you can find them all day for like $170. With the pickup, with the gasket, all that stuff. So that's what we're going to do. If you didn't know that, you're welcome. We are all about saving money here. So I'm going to pull the engine back out of here. We'll get these mounts off the frame and see if we can make the other set work, which are over here somewhere. Somewhere. There they are. And these ones do look a little taller, don't they? I think they look a little taller. Oh yeah, those are way taller. So that gives me even more hope. So yeah, we'll get these pulled off, get these in their place, and see how everything fits. And I'm thinking, might be able to put them here. Looks like they'd be perfect. Alright, got the motor kind of sitting in place roughly. I don't think these frame mounts are going to work either. They don't really line up with the... I mean, I could make them work, I think, but I'd have to drill the holes out on both sides of the mount. But I think the motor would be pretty happy here. A skosh forward, and I've got it 2 7/16 from back here. It was maybe half an inch. So I think it's a little far forward, perhaps. But I think it would work there. And we do have tons of room for an oil pan. I think a F-body pan would probably work here. Yeah, these ones get it real high. And the F-body pan... well, let me look over here, because I think that's what I've got on the 55 right now. Let's see, it drops back 1, 2, 3, kind of in the middle of the 3 and 4 bolts there. So yeah, I think if the motor were back, because the F-body pan, so I was counting the side main cap bolts here, and the F-body drops down in between the, I guess technically it'd be the second and third, kind of in the middle of there. So I think if we moved it back, half inch, 3/4 of an inch, that would probably work perfect. But I kind of think I might, just to make sure everything's gonna be lined up. I don't know, I'm gonna test fit those headers in a second, but I kind of want to just order the Holley mounts. So I think what I'm gonna do now is get the heads held on with a couple bolts, and I want to test fit the headers that I have to see if those will work. And then at that point, just for poops and chuckles, we might as well set the intake on it and set the blower on it and just have fun visualizing things, because that blower, oh my god, this will be the third car that it's been mocked up on. I originally bought that for the RX-7, never used it, switched to turbo, and then I was going to put it on the 55. Now that's going to go turbo, and now it's going to be on this thing, the Death Row Skylark. So I'm going to get everything thrown on and we'll start test fitting stuff. All right, heads are on. Those are on too. So let me go grab the headers we got. Now I have no confidence at all that these are going to work, because those, not this one, that's a eBay shorty, but this one is for like a 99 to 06 Silverado. So I have no confidence that it's going to work, but we're going to try it. Ooh, we're close. It's literally just hitting the brake line right now. Alright. That, you know, honestly, once the engine moves back a little bit, I think that would work. I don't know how it's looking down there by the floor pan, but let me get the other side. All right. Moment of truth. No. What are we into? We're into the frame. Yeah, shoot, that one's not gonna work. That one will not work. This side's just, it's only that brake line. If the other side fit, I would just redo that brake line, call it good. All right, so next up, let's set the intake on it, mock up the blower, admire everything, ooh, ah, even, and then probably call it a day. There we go. You're catching on something. All right, there we go. There is everything all mocked up. You can see what it'll look like with the blower and a log tube on it, with the TBSS intake. It's not bad. I had a few people tell me to put the blower on the S10, which I might do, but I don't know. Just kind of trying to find a home for this thing. Man, that looks cool sitting in there. I love the mock-up phase. It's so exciting. So now I know a few of the things I need to get for it. Obviously, I'm going to have to get headers. Probably just end up ordering one of those pans off eBay, just because I know that they'll work with the Holley mounts. And then once we get all that in there, I can get the trans bolted up. So I got to pull the cam out of this block, and everybody in the comments said just go with the 6.0. It's kind of a heavier car. You'll want that low-end grunt, and I agree. So got to pull the cam out of this, put it in the 6.0, and then we can start throwing things together. Exciting, exciting. But anyway, that is going to do it for today's video. Don't forget to go check out Snake Eater Performance. Use code Snydertron for 10% off. And also, if you go to Shipbox Supply, use code Snydertron for 5% off your order. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for subscribing, sharing the videos with your friends, and I'll see you next time.